Hey, check out these beautiful hanging flower baskets on my front porch. Now forget about them because it's December in Michigan, which means everything's dead and frozen and yuck. But these poor lonely hangers are still just hanging out here with nothing to hang. I want to put something out for the holidays, but what? I was thinking I could make some large ornament bulbs or maybe, I don't know, bells or something, and then it hit me.
What did?
Lanterns. Like the old-timey kind. Now I'm gonna make them out of wood, so I spent some time researching decorative lantern designs, but they all looked real fussy and tedious to make. Now I am a good woodworker, but I'm also lazy and I gotta make 6 of these things. And then it hit me.
Not again.
Bandsaw box technology. I could cut these things out of a solid piece of wood and it would save me all sorts of time.
Bad about 70 hours. Which isn't bad considering I carved it all by hand from one piece of wood.
Now I figured a 6x6 post would be the perfect size material to make these out of, but as luck wouldn't have it, I didn't have any 6x6 posts. But as luck would have it, I had some rough 8x8 beams I could cut down. But as luck wouldn't have it, they were full of staples that I had to avoid. But as luck would have it, I've got plenty of time on my hands to pull staples. Anyway, I've got these 1-foot chunks roughed down to about 6 inches square on the bandsaw. And this wood does have some sentimental value, so that's kind of cool. I planed them smooth, which was only slightly sketchy. And we're finally ready to begin. I started by squaring up one end with a miter saw and then set the bevel to about 25 degrees. I set up a stop block on the fence so these would all be the same length, which was exactly, approximately what looked good to me. And we've got a bunch of steeples. Now I drew some cutting lines, just using whatever scrap I had that looked like the right size. I think the top and bottom was about 1.5 inches and the corners were about 3/4. Now get yourself a can of 080 purple primer. This is the stuff used to prime PVC and CPVC pipes for gluing. Very important that you get the right product for the job. Alright, so this isn't exactly like making a bandsaw box, but that's what comes to my mind when I think of cutting the main bulk of the project out of a single piece of wood. I'm gonna make one entrance cut through the base, and then back the blade out the same way. Flip the piece 90 degrees and do the same thing. This way, the entire bottom actually stays in place, and I don't have to glue it back in. It's a little delicate at this point, but I think that we're gonna take care of that later on. We're gonna add some minimal effort fanciness via an 1/8 inch chamfer bit in the router table. It's sticking up just high enough to create a little shoulder profile, which is what provides the fanciness. I'm gonna do a little sanding here. I'm gonna flatten the tip of the peak just a little so I can attach a cupola thing and a little hanging ring later. At this point, things are moving along so fast, I was feeling inspired to add even more fanciness. So I ripped up some scrap material to make mitered trim. This went super quick with my miter sled, especially since these strips are square. So once I had the stop block in place, I could just keep flipping and mitering, flipping and mitering, flipping and mitering, flipping and mitering, flipping and mitering. Alright, remember how I said the weak base on the lantern would get reinforced? Well, that's gonna happen now since the pin nails I'm using to attach this trim are long enough to reach all the way to the center and bam! 2 birds with 1 stone. As for the little top cupolas, I'm just making some blocks out of scrap and guesstimating the size, and since I've still got that bit on the router table, why not add a little fanciness to these things as well? The hanging rings I chopped out of a PVC pipe, and I drilled slightly oversized holes for the screws to attach them. And we might as well kill 2 birds again by attaching the ring and the cupola to the lantern with just 1 screw. Poor birds. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we must paint. I've had this can of red paint for about 15 years, and it's still perfectly good even after storing it in my cold garage, so I'm impressed with this stuff. Alright, check out what just showed up in the mail. I got these battery-powered candles off of Amazon, and I'll include a link in the description. These things are pretty cool. They have like timer modes, so they'll come on by themselves every evening, and I don't have to touch them. And it looks like we'll be cutting up some more PVC pipes since they fit inside a 3-inch diameter pipe pretty well. A few more rings out of these things to support the candles, and I'm gonna go ahead and paint them silver metallic. I was really hoping to paint them gold, but silver is all I had on hand and we're doing this for cheap, so silver it is. Now I'll just hot glue these in place and we're ready to stick the candles in. Looking pretty snazzy if I do say so myself. And here we are with a little ribbon and pine boughs to spruce them up even more. I took these evening shots before the ribbon and a little bit bummed about that, but you can still see how cool they are in the evening with the flickering candlelight. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. I'm just really stoked with the way these things turned out. It went super quick, and I'm hoping that some of you make some as well. Feliz Navi, go away.